Hey there, welcome back. Today we are kicking off with a captivating exploration of Python data types, the building blocks of any program that you'll ever write. Python data types are versatile and powerful. Whether you're storing a single value or managing complex data types, understanding these types is your key to unlocking Python's magic. Join me as we unravel how these data types work, explore their unique features, and see them in action. Now, what's a data type? Data types specify the kind of data that a variable has. In other words, the type of value the variable holds. In programming, data type is an important concept, and it is very, very important to understand the kind of data that you're dealing with. Previously, we looked at variables, and we noticed that they store different types of data and they do different things. So let us dive in and look at data types of Python. So Python has the following data types, and we shall look at each one of them one by one at a time. Yeah? So the first is going to be the text type. The text type. So inside here we have the string. So how do we create a text type of a data type? Take for instance, you have your variable in the name. So once you create your name and assign this to a quotation just like that and pass your name here, then we now have our text type defined and it's being held in our variable name and it's holding our string David. So we can check out for the type of data that we have by simply specifying that we want to print out the type that is being held in the variable name. So once you run this, you will find that it's going to specify that it's belonging to the class of a string. So I'll simply come here and open up my CMD and execute Python on data types. So right there, as you can see, we have the string. So strings are used to hold anything, really. It can hold a name, it can hold an integer, it can hold a float, it can hold, as long as you wrap it within the quotation, then it qualifies to be called a string belonging to the type of text. Our next one is going to be the numeric data type. Numeric data type. So in here, we have things like the integers, we have the floats, and we have the complex. Now, what's the difference between these two? We all know that integers are whole numbers. Floats are numbers that have a decimal point, and anything that comes next in there is a float. Then complexes, they have a real part and an imaginary part. So let us create all these and see how you can assign them to particular variables. So I'll simply start by creating my age, and my age is going to be maybe 45. So again, the fact it has no decimal point, then this qualifies to be called an integer. But again, we shall verify this by simply printing out the type of what is being held within the variable age. So I can equally create the same for maybe my salary. And this is going to be a float. So anything with a decimal point is a float. So maybe I earn $100.77. Yeah. So this qualifies to be a float. And lastly, we have a complex. Anything that has an imaginary part is a complex number. So I could come up with something like maybe a number is equals to the real part added with the imaginary part. So this is going to be complex. Now let us print out the types for all of these and we see what they have. So I'll print out the type of age. Allow me print multiple statements. So I'll print salary, and lastly I'll print the value the type being stored in the variable number. So when I run this, we we shall find that, sorry, I forgot putting out the type. So let's type across all these. Let's type across all these. Or simply printing out what they are holding. So run this. So right there, you see that now we have the integer, the float, and the complex. So coming up front, I want to be printing out the type, but on your side you could equally keep printing, so you keep verifying that they're belonging to the exact data types that we are specifying them to be belonging to. So our next one is going to be the sequential data type. And in here, we have things like the list, we have the tuple, and we have the range. So you could be asking yourself, what's a list, what's a tuple, what's a range? So these are used for holding multiple kinds of data. A list can hold multiple other data types within it. Now, how do we create a list? You can create a list by simply having a variable names and assigning this to your list. So lists use square brackets. So I'll come and say we have people like a person like Dev. We have maybe Mercy, we have maybe Emma, etc. So this qualifies to be a list, and we shall verify that later on. So a tuple is immutable. So I could have a tuple of countries where we shall use the curly braces. Sorry, these are called parentheses. So in here we shall have things like Kenya, Tanzania, and maybe Burundi. And this qualifies to be a tuple. And lastly, we have our range. So we use ranges for specifying numbers. Maybe I want to have numbers listed between 5 to 100, 70 to 90. So I could say my numbers is going to be equivalent to a range. I could say 10. So when I simply say range 10, this means that I'm going to have numbers generated for me between 0 to 9. So basically, I shall have 10 numbers. So just like that. Now, this range has multiple other forms. I could say I want to start from a given point. So I could say maybe my numbers is equivalent to the same range, but then this time around I specify that I want to start at 5 and I want to end at 15. The first one simply starts from 0 all the way to 9. In the second one, we are starting from 5 all the way to 15. And lastly, you can also integrate a step within the range. A step signifies how many items you're meeting before getting to the next value. For example, I could say my numbers is equal to the range. This time around, I'm going to say 5 to maybe 30, and I'll specify my step of 5. So this is a range with a step. So what does that mean? It means when I start printing, I'll start from 5 all the way to 30, but in steps of 5. So I'll have 5, 10, 15, and so on. Yeah? So this will give us 5, 10, 15, and etc. all the way to the last number. Now that is the sequential data type. Again, you can verify those by simply printing out the type and specify the variable. So if at all I want to know the type of names, I simply say print the type of the names. So I believe you'll try that out and you'll see that all those are belonging to the respective types that are specified in the comments. Our next one is going to be the mapping data type. So in here we have what we call as a dictionary. A dictionary consists of key value pairs. So imagine something like my name, David, my age, 30, my nationality, Ugandan. So I could say my personal information is equivalent to, and I open these curly brackets. So inside here, I specify my key value pairs. I could say my name is David and my age is maybe 35 and my nationality is Ugandan. Now this qualifies to be a dictionary. Why? We are using the curly brackets for creating our data inside, and it's composed of key value pairs. So you could print out the type of your information, and you'll find that this is belonging to the dictionary, as you can see right there. It's belonging to the dictionary. So our next data type is the sets data type. And in here we have the set and we have the frozen set. So sets are used to hold data, and it's important to note that within sets we don't have things like repetition. So I could have a set of my fruits, just like that, and I'll specify that I have berries, I have mangoes, and maybe tomatoes. So in here, you notice that we are creating the set with the same exact bracket, just like we did for the info. However, we don't have key value pairs here. So this qualifies my variable fruits to belong to the set data type. Sorry, I'm supposed to print out the type of this. So the type of fruits, and we shall have our set. So we have the Boolean data type. Boolean data type. And in here we have the bool. So things like true and false. For example, I could say today is rainy. Today is rainy, and I assign this to a true. So when you print out the type of today is rainy, you find that it's belonging to a bool data type. So true and false belong to the Boolean data type. Then we have the bytes data type, or in other words, the binary data types. So hashtag binary data types. So in here we have things like the bytes, we have the byte array, and lastly we have the memory view. So just like we have been doing for the previous data types, we do the same thing for these ones. Take for example, I want to create a bytes of my name. I could simply say my name is equivalent to the B, and I put in my name. So when you print out this, you'll find that it's belonging to the bytes data type. So same thing you could do for the byte array. You simply specify the variable you're creating. I could say x is equals to the byte array, and I specify 5. Then you can print out the type of the x. That this is equally belonging to the corresponding data type that we have, which is the bytes array. Equally, same thing for the memory view. So I could say maybe my y is going to be a memory view. Then I specify that I want to create a memory view of my bytes of 5 or 45. Then we print out our y, the type of y. And this will correspondingly give us the same thing, the memory view. So lastly, we have our NaN data type. So this is used in scenarios where you want to define a variable and then assign nothing to it. So I could say my location is equivalent to a NaN. So we have a variable occupying some address in memory, but then it has nothing within it. So if I print out my location, the type of location, you find that it's belonging to the NaN type. So NaN data type, the NaN type. Yes, so right there we have looked at the different data types that come inbuilt in Python, and it's important to know the right kind of data type that you're currently working with, so it equally gives you the right methods to use for working with that data. With you doing that, it helps you avoid things like errors during your program's execution and any other bugs that might come along your way during your programming or writing or executing of the particular script that you're writing. So right there, I believe you've been able to understand the types available in Python. And with this, I believe that you can now comfortably work with data types. Know that, okay, right here I have a range, right here I have a string, right here I have a set, and etc. So thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, kindly don't forget to like, drop a random comment, maybe about what you would like me to cover again, maybe with respect to data types in Python or any other aspect of Python programming. And don't forget sharing equally the video. So you help me expand on its reach out there, so people equally benefit from it. Thank you so much, and I wish us the best of our programming experience with God of Hope.